I don't know if y'all heard, but Michael Johnson and RG3, they kind of got in some issues online, dog. Every year, RG3 does these on cameras. So he's done that 2 years in a row now. Last year at NC's, this year at NC's. A lot of people liked it, right? What he was saying was you don't play track and field, you run it. That's why track and field is the only real sport. Everything else is just a game. That's what he said in his opening, right? Michael Johnson put a tweet out. He said, track athletes would love some of that just a game, real money, and respect that's lacking as in the only real sport of track and field. Love RG3, but a little much on this one. And put a question mark and a laughing face, right? But Michael realized he misinterpreted something that RG3 said, I guess. So he deleted the tweet. But RG3 already saw it and screenshotted it, right? So that he responded, you deleted this tweet, but I still saw it, MJ Gold. All respect to you, OG, but you are mischaracterizing the message. I have never heard a legend of football downplay the excitement for uniqueness of football, yet here you are. I'm trying to build up the sport and its athletes through exciting and engaging broadcasts, stating facts. You don't play track, you run it. Go out there and trying to play and you'll get embarrassed. That is something track can hold on to and promote. It would help if legends like you helped build the sport and its athletes up by not constantly tearing it down for no reason. So that's RG3 telling Michael Johnson, telling him his place.
I actually agree with RG. I think there needs to be a change it needs to be a change in our sport, bro. We need to be more exciting. We are trying to follow the pace of tennis and golf. We're not that. We are sexy. We're exhilarating. We're exciting. We're fast.
100%.
That's what we need to be.
I agree with all of that. You know I do. My issue was RG3 has no business telling Michael Johnson how he should talk about track and field. He has no business doing that. I don't care how many touchdown passes you've thrown. I don't care if you're a Big 12 champion. Okay, cool. But the fact of the matter is, track and field wasn't your first passion. You went and played football, which is fine. Football is your first passion, and football is your first love. If I ask you what your favorite sport is, you're going to say it's football. So you don't have the same passion and investment that someone like Michael Johnson has, let alone the accomplishments. What he's doing is counterproductive, because if he's talking about pushing the sport forward, you can't embarrass legends like that. You can't. This conversation has to happen behind closed doors. You can't publicly front on Michael Johnson in front of everybody. They could have spoken privately, and that's what should have happened if he really wants to save the sport. If he doesn't notice that, it just looks like a publicity stunt to me. Because I went through his Instagram. The only 2 track and field posts he's had was this year at NC's and last year at NC's. Aside from that, he ain't saying shit about track and field.
I disagree on 2 folds, respectfully. The fact is RG3 made a statement. Michael Johnson replied to the statement. So it opened up the door for RG to reply to what Michael Johnson said. That's man to man, bro. That's man to man in that situation. He's just out there saying, hey, I got to defend what I'm saying. And it's true, though, but it's all about the sport. It's not about the stats. It's not, because we understand from a stats perspective, Michael Johnson is here. We understand that. But RG3 loves track and field. Personally, I know that because I've been on the track where RG3 is training for football, and he still uses track as a conditioning and still was jumping hurdles for conditioning. So he loves track and field.
Let me make something clear. Him being able to speak to Michael Johnson has nothing to do with his track and field stats or prowess, whatever it was. There's people that are in the track and field world that weren't that good necessarily, but they're still in the world. I'm coming from the standpoint of how, Devin Allen was in the NFL, a level up from college. Can you imagine Devin Allen going on Twitter and publicly checking Jerry Rice because of how he's talking about the NFL football? Like, you're always negative, man. You're the problem with the sport, Jerry. It's you. You're the problem with the sport. You should be like me and how I talk about the sport. I played NFL football. I could talk about this. You should be as excited as me. That's the exact same thing. And people would think it was different because that's the level that track and field is at right now, because you'd be like, oh, it's not the same thing because track and field is considered to be lower level. Michael Johnson is our Jerry Rice. He is our Jerry Rice. He's one of the legends. You cannot, sorry, Robert, you cannot publicly front on Michael Johnson. That's my only issue. It has nothing to do with whether you're right, whether you're wrong. I love your passion. I love what you're doing for the sport. I want to see more of you. He should not be checking Michael Johnson. So Michael concluded with this tweet. Okay, let's agree to both do what we do best. I'll keep looking for solutions to the actual problems, and you keep preaching to the choir for claps and likes. Together, we'll get there. Final tweet, he said, when trying to bring successful change, it's important to build the athletes up, motivate, inspire the fans, and push the people in charge to do better. The key to unsuccessful change is just to hate on everything, shift blame to the athletes and complain. Track needs you, MJ. Gosh. Track needs you, MJ. Your voice holds power. How you use that power is up to you. You can change the sport for the better. I'm here to help with the first approach, whether legends in the sport like yourself like it or not. Give me back in camera for this. I need to look in the camera and say this. Michael Johnson's wrong all the time. I look at Michael Johnson like the drunk uncle that you just loud him, yo. You loud him. You don't say shit. This is drunk. This is drunk Nate. Let him be. He'd be just this. And if someone says something to him, you got to check him, like, because that's family. Justin, with all the stuff you did, I would say even not you should not check him publicly. And even Addo Bolden wouldn't say something like this. Even the tweet I put out, Addo liked the tweet. He knows this shouldn't happen. This is going too far. Especially when I've seen you talk about track 2 times in the past 2 years.
He's entitled to his opinion. Now the whole banter back and forth, then yes, okay, Michael, let's talk about this off record, right? Because it's not a shot at Michael. It's more about let's get this done together for the sport. It's for the sport. That's where it should stay at. It's not about taking shots at Michael or Michael taking shots at RG. It's about making sure we're all on the same page when it comes to the sport and changing the narrative of the sport. And I have so much respect for Michael for what he did, because he helped pave the way for me as an athlete and helped me be able to say, okay, I want to get to that next level and achieve something too, right? But if anybody came to me and commented on my post and I didn't feel some type of way about it, I'm going to reply, because you replied on a public platform instead of coming to me and DMing me first.
All right, let's just agree to disagree, man. I know. Let me ask you this. Let me just ask you this. Is the credibility of the legends of the sport important as far as the sport moving forward?
Absolutely.
Robert, let's just take a time out for a second. What you're doing, while great and rallying the troops, as far as the bigger picture, you singling out a legend and assuming the position of the guy that's going to lead the charge for track and field, that's not the move.